Exploration and colonization of Texas. The big question: why do some people leave their homelands? Henry and Nancy Jones, early Texas pioneers. Wow, this log cabin is huge, exclaims Leah as she walks up to an old structure. You're right, this is a huge cabin, and it's a replica of one built in the early 1800s, says volunteer JR. This style of home is called a dog trot cabin and is located on one of the park's oldest farms, he explains. Today, Leah is getting a tour of George Ranch Historical Park in Richmond, Texas. She is accompanied by her guide, JR, who has worked at the park for many years. He loves sharing the park's history and explaining why this area became a popular spot for early Texas colonists. The park is more than just wide open space. It's a real working ranch with lots of history, says JR. George Ranch Historical Park is located just 30 miles from downtown Houston and sits on more than 20,000 acres of land, JR explains. The farm was established in 1824 when Texas was still part of Mexico and has been handed down for generations. Leah asked who the first people were to live there. The farm was originally owned by the pioneers Henry and Nancy Jones. They came down here in 1822, says JR. They were part of Stephen F. Austin's old 300 colonists. Austin was an impresario, or land agent, whose job was to find an area and attract settlers to move to Texas, where they received land grants from the Mexican government. Austin chose this area because of its proximity to the Brazos River, explains JR. Like the Jones family, many people jumped at the opportunity to own a large piece of land. Henry and Nancy moved here from Arkansas Territory in 1822 and claimed 4,428 acres of land in 1824, adds JR. What did they do with all this land? Asked Leah. Well, some people grew crops, some people raised livestock, and some people did both. To fully understand what life was like for the colonists, Leah tries her hand at tilling or preparing the field. Without modern-day farming tools, Leah quickly realizes how difficult it must have been to run a farm in the 1830s. How old were the children when they started to work? Asked Leah. Well, in those times, if you could walk, you could work. You could be 3 years old and help mom and dad out in the fields, explains JR. The Jones family had lots of help. They had 12 children to help share the chores. Next, JR leads Leah to the outbuildings surrounding the farm. The outbuildings include the smokehouse, barn, hog pen, and chicken coop. The outbuildings were very important extensions of the family home, says JR. These buildings provided support for the family's daily operations, he adds. I like the chore of feeding the animals, especially the chickens, says Leah. These ones are my favorite, she says, petting the gray and white hen. As Leah's tour comes to an end, she is happy that she had the chance to see and experience how the Jones family lived back in the 1830s. I am amazed that the Jones family moved here and that they were able to build all of this, says Leah, because life sure wasn't easy back then. JR smiles and says, well, we like to say that in order to succeed in the future, you have to understand the past. Think about it. What does the story of the Jones family tell you about why people may have wanted to leave their homelands and come to a colony in Texas? What did they hope they would find there?